Hello St. Paul class and welcome. Get ready to review a couple questions from the past test for simplifying rational expressions. So hopefully this will help get our grades a little higher. Alright, so here we go on the first problem that we're going to be looking at. Here we know we have a, so I have to get rid of this radical in the bottom right. So since it's a minus, I want to multiply I'm going to multiply this side by the complex conjugate. So I'm multiplying by negative 4 plus 3 square root 3 over negative 4 plus 3 square root 3, right? So that way I can cancel out the middle term. When I do that, I'm going to take negative 3 times negative 4, and I'm going to get negative 12. I'm also going to take the 3 times the 3 to give me the positive 9, and then the root 3 comes along for the ride for the top. Alright, so on the bottom, here we're going to do negative 4 times negative 4, gives me positive 16. I am going to do then negative 3 times positive 3, which gives me a negative 9. And then the only tricky part, remember, we could do square root 3 times square root 3. Well, what square root 3 times square root 3 is just 3, right? So here now I have negative 12 plus 9 root 3, all divided by 16 minus 27. And if I simplify that down a little bit, what I get is negative 12 plus 9 square root 3 all over negative 11. And if you could simplify this any further, but here negative 12, 9, doesn't, neither one of those go into 11. So that would be the final answer that you should have gotten for number 6. Alright, so starting with problem 7 now. The second you start looking at these kind of problems, what you want to think about is, can I factor any piece of it before I really get started? Well, I can factor the bottom here. If I want to pull out a 2 and an x squared out of the bottom, well, I'm going to leave the top alone. So if I pull a 2 and the x squared along, I can see that I get x minus 5. And we know when we divide, what do you do when you divide? Division becomes multiplication. And so I just flip it, and so the x minus 5 goes to the top, and on the bottom 1. Well, you can see now, well, these will cancel. X minus 5 cancels x minus 5 once you multiply across, and I'm left with 14 over 2x squared. Well, the last step here, you can simplify. I have a 14 in the top and a 2 in the bottom, so 14 over 2 just leaves me with a 7, and then x squared in the bottom, and that's the answer that we should have gotten for 7. Alright, now starting on problem 8, here I have unlike denominators, so we're adding these two pieces, so I need to somehow get a common denominator in order to add them together. Well, here the only way to get these into a common denominator, I need to multiply each side by so I want to make my denominator, I want to make these two denominators together. So my denominator needs to be 4a squared plus 16a and also 3a. So that would be the denominator that I'm looking for, because it's going to be both of these pieces. Well, what is this side missing? And I can think, well, here is kind of like a cross multiply. So I'm taking 3 and 3a, that's going to give me 9a. And then the other side, if I do that, 6a and 4a squared is going to give me a positive 24a cubed. And then 6a and 16a is, so if I do that, 6a and 16a, that's going to give me 96a squared. So that would be all of the top. Well, what's the bottom? Well, we put the bottom together, right? That's our two denominators. So I have 3a and I have 4a squared plus 16a. All right, well, let's look and see. Once now I gotta see, is there anything that can possibly cancel, anything I can pull out? And let's rearrange this in high to low. So I'm going to do 24a squared plus 96a squared plus 9a all over 3a 4a squared plus 16a. So here I can actually, if you see, you can pull out a 3 and an a, everything out of the top. So out of this top, I'm going to pull a 3 and an a out of each one. So I'm dividing each one by 3, right? So what happens here, the first one leaves me with 8a squared. Alright, so if I do 96, that's going to give me 32a, and then plus 3, no 3a, so just plus 3, all divided by, and you still have the 3a, 4a squared plus 16a. And here you can see, well, I got a 3a in the top, 3a in the bottom, and that's going to cancel. And so your final answer that you should have gotten would have just been 8a squared plus 32a plus 3 all over 4a squared plus 16a. So that would be the answer then for 8. Alright, so for problem 9 here that we're looking at, it's kind of the same base problem, except now I have a complex fraction. Well, what does my fraction really look like? It's really technically 2u minus 1 over 1, and we are dividing that by u over 36 minus 6 over u. Well, so that's what I'm looking at, right? Well, I already have one fraction, so I'm just going to leave this left side alone. Here I need to get it into one fraction. I can't have it like that, so now it's kind of like this problem. Don't have common denominator, so I need to get a common denominator. So when I do that, I'm going to end up getting u squared minus 216, and then on the bottom is just 36 and u. So over here now I got 2u minus 1 over 1, and we know we're dividing that. So what happens when you divide? When you have to divide, we know we have to flip, right? So I got 2u minus 1 over 1, and I'm multiplying by then 36u over u squared minus 216. Well, here you would look and see, can I possibly factor this? Is there any way to possibly factor that? Well, the only way that this would factor is if it was a perfect square. Well, 216 is not a perfect square, meaning it's not square rootable. So if I can't take the square root of 216 and give me a whole number. So my problem is just now put these together, and that would be the answer. So 2u minus 1, and then 36u all over u squared minus 216, and there's the answer for 9, and done. Now on 10 I can see once again I have this complex fraction, so I'm looking at x over x minus 3. Now instead of putting the minus, I'm going to put a plus just so it doesn't confuse me, and I'm going to make the x squared negative. So that's the same thing, right? So that way I don't get confused when I'm trying to make this common denominator, and I know I'm dividing that by x minus 2 over x minus 3. Well, over here I already have just one fraction, so there's nothing really I have to do with the right side, but this I have to get into one fraction in order to combine it. So I know I'm having to multiply this side by x minus 2 in order to get a common denominator. I'm putting these pieces together. So here I'm taking x squared minus 2x, and then if I do the same thing over here, negative x squared times x gives me negative x cubed, and then plus 3x squared, and that's all over. So now that we put our denominators together, x minus 3, x minus 2, right? So the top then simplifies down, so this top simplifies down when I put them together like terms. I have a negative x cubed, I have a positive 4x squared, and a minus 2x all over x minus 3, x minus 2. Right? Well, I can see that that's not going to factor on the top, so it's not going to do any good. And know since it's division, I'm just flipping it and multiplying x minus 3 over x minus 2. Well, the only thing that's going to cancel, then I can see that x minus 3 cancels the x minus 3, and my answer just negative x cubed plus 4x squared minus 2x all over x minus 2 squared. And I can simplify that a little bit. I guess I can pull out the negative x and leave it with x squared minus 4x plus 2 all over x minus 2 squared. And that would be the answer that I was really looking for that problem. And if you can do all those and do them well, the test should be easy for you.